Hello everyone, how are you? Today's new update. Deportation fight. A federal judge threatened to open a contempt inquiry into the Trump administration over what he called its willful disregard for his order temporarily halting deportations under an obscure wartime law, which the White House invoked against individuals it accused of being gang members. The judge said in a 46-page opinion that there was probable cause to find the administration in contempt for its actions. Deported Maryland man, Senator Chris Van Hollen, Democrat of Maryland, is in El Salvador to press for the release of Kilmar Armando Abrego Garcia, a Salvadoran immigrant and Maryland resident who was mistakenly deported by the Trump administration. Mr. Abrego Garcia remains imprisoned in his native country after the Supreme Court ordered the U.S. government to facilitate his return. Read more. Japan and tariffs. President Trump said that he would attend a meeting in Washington with a negotiator from Japan, one of the first countries allowed to bargain for a possible reprieve from Mr. Trump's sweeping tariffs, many of which he has put on hold for 90 days. Japan's place near the front of the line appears to reflect a warmer approach than Mr. Trump has taken with other nations. A federal judge in Washington threatened on Wednesday to open a high-stakes contempt investigation into whether the Trump administration violated an order he issued last month directing officials to stop planes of Venezuelan migrants from being sent to El Salvador. In a 46-page ruling, the judge, James E. Boasberg, said that he would begin contempt proceedings against the administration unless the White House did what it has failed to do for more than a month: give scores of Venezuelan men deported to El Salvador under the expansive authority of a wartime law called the Alien Enemies Act a chance to challenge their removal. The court does not reach such conclusions lightly or hastily, wrote Judge Boasberg, who sits as the chief judge in Federal District Court in Washington. Indeed, it has given defendants ample opportunity to explain their actions. None of their responses has been satisfactory. Judge Boasberg's threat of contempt proceedings came one day after another federal judge, in another case involving the deportation flights to El Salvador, announced that she was beginning her own inquiry into whether the White House had violated a separate ruling by the Supreme Court. In that case, Judge Paula Zines, who sits in Federal District Court in Maryland, ordered the administration within the next 2 weeks to answer questions, both in writing and in depositions, about why it had so far apparently failed to comply with directions from the Supreme Court to facilitate the release of a Maryland man, Kilmar Armando Abrego Garcia, from the same Salvadoran prison to which the Venezuelan migrants had been sent. Taken together, the twin decisions by the judges represented a remarkable attempt by jurists to hold the White House accountable for not only its apparent willingness to flout court orders, but also more broadly its inclination to probe the traditional, but increasingly fragile, balance of power between the executive and judicial branches.